Hi, it's Wendy Merrill from Strategy Horse, and today I wanted to share some thoughts on what our box looks like. In other words, all of us reside in a specific box, and the box is defined by expectations of us. What we're supposed to do, what we're supposed to think, how we're supposed to treat people, how we're supposed to live our lives. The issue is that most of us are actually living in boxes that are fashioned by other people. In other words, we're trying to live according to their expectations of us, as opposed to taking the time and thinking about what's really important to us individually and designing a box that is defined by the expectations we have of ourselves, of the impact we want to have. I totally get this because for most of my life, I also lived inside a box that others created for me. For most of my professional life, I was always in a sales role, so I received commissions. I was in an incentive-based compensation system. So my value to whatever company I was working for was always based on whatever business I would bring in and what the dollar amounts were. If I was bringing in business, I was the darling of the company. If I wasn't making any money and I didn't exist. And I started to internalize this, and I really believed this about me for years. Well, what's interesting is that when I hit the pinnacle of my career in insurance sales and business development, I started to take on more of a strategic role. In other words, when I was in my family's business, before I started Strategy Horse, right before I retired from the insurance business, I started thinking about the long game. Before I ever realized I would leave the business, I thought, well, I'm going to be in this for the rest of my career, and I need to make sure that this is sustainable. So I started focusing a lot of attention on operations improvements and HR and recruiting, retaining really great people and strategic planning and branding and et cetera, et cetera. And I really enjoyed that. And it took probably 40 to 50% of my time. But the weird thing was that I wasn't recognized for what I was doing at the time. I wasn't recognized officially, and I certainly wasn't compensated for it. And I didn't expect to be compensated for it because I didn't know any different. Until I received some advice from some people and I realized that I was doing some pretty good stuff, some pretty good work, and I should have been compensated for what I was doing. So I stood up for myself, I did my research, I quantified what I was doing, and I got the compensation and the recognition that I needed and frankly deserved. But it's not just me who's been through this. In my practice, I come across people every single day that struggle with the same thing in both their personal and professional lives. They're living up to other people's expectations, and they're basing their value upon what others see or what others need, not based on what they actually want to accomplish in their lives or the kind of impact they want to have at work, at home, in the community, and beyond. If we really want to be agents of impact and we want to do great things, we have to understand our value. We have to understand the box in which we're living. And we have to take the time and have the courage to redefine that box. Actually, not even redefine it, define it based on what we care about and what we want to accomplish. If you feel like you're in a box that's been created by other people and you feel kind of stifled, kind of not fitting so well, it's probably because you're living according to other people's expectations of you, and you haven't taken the time to really think through the impact you want to have and the value that you bring to the table and what you can do for other people. If you struggle with this and you want to learn more and you want to be able to define your value and figure out your path to impact, check out my upcoming workshops. I'm doing 3 modules in a series. You can sign up for them all together as a package, which I recommend because they are sequential in nature, or you can sign up for each one individually. Who are these workshops for? Well, they're for rising leaders who want to be more impactful, early to mid-career professionals who either want to make partner or they want to make waves and do great things in the nonprofit sector, or in their civic involvement, or maybe they're an aspiring or already a successful entrepreneur. Anybody who wants to be more impactful and they need help figuring out how to do that. These workshops are designed for that, and they're all interactive, totally innovative. They're going to be a blast. And I run them in such a way where everyone is in a comfortable atmosphere, so they feel very supportive. And the really, really cool thing is that built into each session is a very structured, facilitated, curated approach to networking. So we're going to talk about stakeholder development, and we're actually going to do that within each session. So I hope you can join us. Check out the Eventbrite link and hurry, because space is filling and we are limited. We don't want it to get too big. We want to keep it kind of intimate. So I hope to see you there.